Welcome to Queer News Tonight. This is the world's first and only LGBTQ daily television news show, broadcasting live and available on demand on your favorite streaming channels.
Analytics company vidIQ has certified the Queer News Tonight YouTube channel as the world's most popular LGBTQ streaming news show. Our queer stories have reached more than 10 million views.
We are proud that Queer News Tonight has more YouTube subscribers than any other LGBTQ brand in Florida.
We thank you for watching and supporting our voices in our rainbow family. There is no other news program in the LGBTQ world like Queer News Tonight.
It is Tuesday, June 10th. We are live and literally out of the closets and into the headlines. So many of your important stories we'll tell this evening on Queer News Tonight.
You're watching Queer News Tonight, the world's first daily LGBTQ evening news show.
Welcome to the world's most important LGBTQ evening news show.
Hotspots magazine, happening on television network, is a nonprofit 501c3 media company in the same model as PBS and NPR, but designed for the LGBTQ community.
Our nonprofit mission is to support the 11 pillars of our LGBTQ community. We want to inform and educate the key issues of lesbian, trans, Latino, Black, healthcare, seniors, students, faith, social justice, business, and queer culture. Help us support our diverse community.
We are part of one of the largest LGBTQ nonprofit media companies in America, Hotspots Magazine and Happening Out Television Network. In 2025, our magazine is celebrating 40 years of the LGBTQ experience, and Queer News Tonight is celebrating our 5th anniversary with more than 10,000 LGBTQ stories. We will produce the 25th anniversary of our Stonewall Pride Parade and Festival on June 14th. We present Pride Fest in August, and we declare that love is in the air with Pride Fort Lauderdale on Valentine's Day, February 14th. Our magazine, events, television news shows, talk and entertainment shows support our mission to educate the LGBTQ and broader community.
In 2025, more than 100 community leaders will sit at this table and share their voice as our anchors. Together, we host this show to support our diverse family. Let's meet today's anchors at Queer News Tonight. Let's welcome anchor Gregg Shapiro, an inductee into the Chicago LGBT Hall of Fame. Gregg is an entertainment journalist whose celebrity interviews and reviews run in a variety of regional LGBTQ publications and websites. Gregg, 30 Days of Pride. Stonewall Pride is the event of Pride Month on June 14th. Tell me what's happening out.
Wilton Manors will burst with color, music, and pride as the 2025 Stonewall Pride Parade and Street Festival lights up the streets on Saturday, June 14th. Celebrating LGBTQ liberation and visibility, this iconic South Florida event will welcome more than 50,000 attendees from across the country, kicking off with a vibrant street festival in the afternoon and followed by the dazzling nighttime glow parade. The event will feature live entertainment, drag shows, DJs, vendors, and community organizations. Tickets start at $10. For more information, visit stonewallpride.lgbt. Hotspots Happening Out and Queer News Tonight is celebrating 30 days of Pride by promoting 16 dazzling events in the LGBTQ community, so stay tuned. Well, as of today, June 10th, I have now attended 4 Pride festivals. Miami Beach Pride, Palm Beach Pride, Oakland Park Pride, and over the weekend, Naples Pride.
Wow.
And I'm beyond excited to add the Stonewall Pride Parade and Festival to that list. I love it because it's the hometown festival, because thousands come to Wilton Manors to share the experience, because the nighttime parade is a sight to behold, because now, more than ever, we need to celebrate Pride.
Absolutely. And I think that prides are more of a protest this year than in the past. I mean, they started as a protest, and we're coming back to that because, you know, we have to.
Yes.
Yeah.
I definitely think we need to show up and show out, and how better than in lights and in a glow parade, right?
Right.
I'm excited that Trans Ed will be in the parade this
Awesome.
year. Trans visibility is really important.
That's great.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're gonna have Mr. and Miss Continental Newcomer in in our little convertible, and Miss Newcomer is actually my daughter Joey Young. So I'm a big
Oh,
I'm
wow.
Congratulations.
So, thanks. So visibility is important for all of us to show up and be as visible
Absolutely.
in a peaceful way.
Yeah.
All right. That Queer News Tonight looks forward to seeing you at the Stonewall Parade on June 14th. That is a big LGBTQ story for today. There's no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by subscribing and sharing Queer News Tonight. Now let's welcome anchor Franchesca D'Amore. She's an advocate and holistic life coach. She's the founder of Trans Ed and an executive committee member of the Broward Regional HIV Planning Council. Franchesca, 30 Days of Pride, TransInclusive Group, Where Do We Go From Here, Town Hall at the Center for Spiritual Living on June 17th. Tell me, what's happening out?
Yeah, well, on June 17th at 6:30 p.m., TransInclusive Group will host a very powerful town hall titled Where Do We Go From Here? At the Center for Spiritual Living in Fort Lauderdale. The event will bring together community members, advocates, and nonprofit leaders to discuss growing threats to LGBTQ rights, DEI efforts, and HIV prevention funding. Participants will explore how the loss of grants affects public health and equity. Through open dialogue, the town hall will highlight the power of storytelling to shift narratives, influence policy, and inspire collective action. More details are available on TransInclusive Group's Facebook page. Hotspots Happening Out and Queer News Tonight is celebrating 30 Days of Pride by promoting 16 dazzling events in the LGBTQ community. So stay tuned. So yeah, this event that TransInclusive is putting on, if you've ever been to any of their town halls before, they're really amazing.
Wow.
It's a free speech zone, and things are spoken of poignantly, but directly.
Right.
And I love that about this group. You know, they don't pussyfoot around, for lack of better terminology.
Right.
They get right to the point, and they dig up the dirt so people can see what's underground and really have these sometimes very uncomfortable conversations
Right.
that need to be had. So if you're able to come, actually no, you need to go and you need to be included in these conversations and understand what's happening with DEI, as well HIV funding cuts that are happening,
Yeah, all this is
bigger
horrible.
cuts that are going to happen that affect the LGBT community, especially in South Florida. It's really, really important. So if you want to be educated on what's going on, this is the place to voice your opinion and to show up. Yeah.
Is this the first time you're doing a town hall on this topic?
So it's not Trans Ed, it's TransInclusive. So they're the ones who are doing this.
Oh, okay.
But they're notorious for putting on really great town halls,
Wonderful.
whatever the issues are. You know, they're up front and center.
And all of the LGBT community is welcome, right? Not
All
just
of
the trans community.
Oh, sure. Because
Wonderful.
all of these
Yeah.
issues
I just wanted to
affect
make sure everyone out there
everyone.
knew
Right.
that everybody is invited, even straight people who are our allies.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really very important that we all show up and that LGBTQIA all show up together to really flush out all of these topics that are affecting us and affecting the South Florida area in such big ways. So show up and show out.
Yeah.
Go to
It's a time-
TransInclusive's Facebook page and check it out.
It's a timely and necessary event.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Queer News Tonight looks forward to seeing you at Where Do We Go From Here Town Hall on June 17th. That is a big LGBTQ story for today. There is no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by subscribing and sharing Queer News Tonight. Now let's welcome anchor Larry Farver. Larry has over 20 years of experience in human resources, acting, film, radio, TV, live events, parade float design, production, and casting. He's also a board member of the West Sides Association. Larry, 30 Days of Pride, Senior Pride at Richardson Park on June 21st. Tell me what's happening out.
Sure, Cindy. On Saturday, June 21st, Wilton Manors will come alive with joy and pride as the Seniors of Today 2025 LGBTQ plus Senior Pride event takes place at Richardson Park from 12 to 3. Hosted by the Pride Center, Sage of South Florida, and SunServe, this free celebration will honor LGBTQ seniors with a vibrant afternoon of music, dancing, storytelling, and dazzling drag performances. A luncheon buffet and refreshments will be served, offering guests a delicious way to mingle and connect. The event will welcome guests of all ages, but the spotlight will shine on older queer adults celebrating their journeys and resilience. The event is hosted by Hotspots Happening Out, Al Ferguson. Attendees can expect heartfelt stories, lively entertainment, and an atmosphere filled with laughter and community spirit. Space will be limited and advance registration will be required at sunserve.org. Hotspots Happening Out and Queer News Tonight is celebrating 30 days of Pride by promoting 16 dazzling events in the LGBTQ community. So stay tuned. Well, I'm excited. I know that we're privileged, especially in South Florida. I was just looking at some statistics, and I think they're pretty accurate. You know, we have a population of over 25% in the Wilton Manors area of people who are over 65 that typically fall into the senior definition. I only like the senior definition when it goes down a few years and then I get the discount. But one of the things they found interesting, and they didn't have all of Florida, but they had statistics for the United States that right now an approximate 1.5 million seniors fall into the 65 plus age group for our community, and they expect that to double by 2030. Yep. So 3 million is a big number. I think that we need to continue to, as you all were saying in the story before, we need to be visible at every event that we can go to, celebrate, and let people know and see how we're spending our money, how we're having fun. It can't be ignored.
No.
Right, and I think it's a wonderful step that seniors are starting to be celebrated.
Yes.
Seniors had been invisible in the LGBT community for so long. And I believe more so in the gay community than in the lesbian community. But to celebrate our seniors, we wouldn't be here having this news show if it wasn't for our seniors whose shoulders we stand on. I mean, there are a few of us here at the table who are seniors ourselves, but there are many that came before us, and we need to celebrate them. And I'm so happy to see that things are starting to happen up there. As you know, I run an LGBT senior program in Miami, and I just love when things start happening.
We're queer, we're still here. Get used to it.
Still.
And as previously stated, Rick and I look forward to attending in our Velcro sneakers, our rainbow striped compression socks, taking pictures with our jitterbug flip phones, and savoring our Metamucil mocktails with a Boost chaser.
Wow. I can't wait.
Yeah, all right.
Yum.
You make it so appetizing.
Right? Well, Queer News Tonight looks forward to seeing you at the Senior Pride at Richardson Park on June 21st. And that is a big LGBTQ story for today. There is no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by subscribing and sharing Queer News Tonight.
And of course, let's welcome tonight's lead anchor, Cindy Brown. Cindy was an early organizer of the Miami AIDS Walk and the White Party for care resource. She is the programs director for the Lambda Living program at Jewish Community Services, and she also served as the founding executive director of Miami Beach Pride. Cindy, Jewish Community Services Give Out Day runs through June 30th for the queer community. Tell us what's happening out.
Well, Jewish Community Services, as well as Lambda Living, is participating in Give Out Day. It's a national LGBTQ giving campaign, and we are accepting donations for this campaign through June 30th. The website is giveoutday.org/organization/JCS. I know that's a mouthful. This year, we hope to raise $12,000 to support vital programs like youth counseling, Lambda Living for Seniors, and queer older adult case management. As of now, we've raised about 13% of our goal, and we are encouraging you to step up and help us reach that $12,000 goal. JCS continues to provide a safe, inclusive, and affirming space for LGBTQ individuals across all age groups and regardless of your religious affiliation. Now, more than ever, your support is needed urgently. Happening out, and Queer News Tonight is celebrating 30 days of Pride by promoting 16 dazzling events in the LGBT community. So stay tuned. Wow. You know, the Give Out Day is something that is so important, not only to us, but to many organizations across the country. And especially now with all of the cuts in funding, it is more important than ever that people reach into their pockets, because if we can't help our own community, nobody else is going to do it. You know, we're going to talk in a little bit about Crisis Line being canceled. I mean, these people will die without the needed services, and that's all LGBT programs across the country. So please, you know, consider your favorite organization or consider supporting JCS. It's more important now than ever before.
To paraphrase what Mame Dennis said to Agnes Gooch, give, give, give.
Yeah, that's great.
I just had a psychedelic flash.
Is your organization participating?
No, we've been around almost 2 years, and I've been busy finishing up school and stuff. But next year we will. And it is, like you said, so important.
It's so important
for our community to come together and to support LGBTQ nonprofits. It's so important.
So, you know, for many of the marginalized groups that were mentioned, youth and elderly.
Absolutely.
And, you know, folks with mental health issues. And I think you mentioned, Cindy, that hotline was being cut. That, you know, those things are sorely needed, and we just need to regroup and think, and hopefully at the event that you mentioned earlier, there'll be some brainstorming that'll help achieve that.
Absolutely. There probably will be, for sure. We all have to come together in the community to really support each other and get the word out that we need the help.
Right. Yeah, and
we need the help.
And people will die without these programs that are being cut all over the country.
Save lives. Queer News Tonight invites you to support your community by participating at Give Out Day 2025 through June 30th. That is a big LGBTQ story for today. There is no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by subscribing and sharing Queer News Tonight.
Now let's dive deep into this big LGBTQ story for today. I'm Cindy Brown. Let's queer up politics. The Trump administration finalizes plan to cut LGBTQ plus crisis lifeline during WorldPride. As celebrations lit up Washington, D.C. for WorldPride, a quieter move by the Trump administration has sparked outrage across the queer community. The Department of Health and Human Services released its fiscal year 2026 budget. hidden in the pages, a finalized plan to eliminate funding for the LGBTQ youth services within the 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline, effective October 1st. This decision ends specialized crisis care that has served over 1.3 million LGBTQ youth since 2022. The Trevor Project, one of the key partners, warns that the cut could be catastrophic. Trevor Project CEO James Black said, quote, "We do not have to agree on every policy issue, to agree that every American's life is worth saving. It is deeply upsetting to see the administration reverse course on an evidence-backed, bipartisan program. The timing is striking. While WorldPride brought thousands to D.C. in celebration, advocates including Ariana Grande, Daniel Radcliffe, and Pedro Pascal joined in protest, signing a public letter to save the Lifeline. John McPhee of the Jed Foundation said, quote, "More than 1 million crisis calls have been routed to these LGBTQ plus focused services since 2022. The current budget proposal puts young lives in danger," end quote. The White House has declined to comment, but LGBTQ leaders say they won't stay silent because lives are on the line. This is so dangerous. You know, the last thing an LGBT youth or any LGBT person calling 988 in a crisis is to be told that if they were not a homosexual, they wouldn't be feeling it, which is exactly what could happen. If these specially trained counselors are let go. Jewish Community Services, we do the 988 hotline for the 786 and the 305 area codes. And we have our trained staff, and you know, we would hope that all crisis counselors are trained to be sensitive, but with everything that's happening, we cannot guarantee that, and the result will be people will die.
Catastrophic. And thank you to Ariana Grande, to Daniel Radcliffe, to Pedro Pascal, and others for speaking up about this horrific situation. We need all the supporters and allies we can get while the Trump administration carries out the evil deeds of Russell Vought and the Heritage Foundation.
Right.
And what is this also telling our LGBTQ youth, right? A resounding that this administration doesn't think you're worthy of anything. So it's going to make an already horrible situation worse. And I believe that LGBTQ youth are 4 times more likely to commit suicide, and trans even more than that.
Yeah.
So removing the, you know, this vital lifeline, it's awful.
Yeah.
It's just awful.
No, it's very sobering. I mean, I won't say what year, but I remember being in junior high school, going to my guidance counselor, and knew I was different, but I wasn't certainly out. It was a different time. But I remember him saying to me, and not making this up, you know, there are going to be kids like you who get picked on. I was one of those kids that picked on kids like you. I was, you know, because he was a football jock.
Right.
And that's how the conversation went. And I told my mother this many years later, and I said to my mother, she said, "Why didn't you tell me?" I said, "What would you have said, Mom, in 1978 to a 7th grader who brought that story to you?"
Well, you just told us your age.
It's okay, but
it's
things have
horrible. And seniors today.
Yeah.
You know, they live through all this horrible, they have PTSD from what they lived through.
Yes.
And now they could be traumatized again. It is...
Well, and the
it's
hypocrisy and where they spend the tax dollars. If I'm not mistaken, during WorldPride March, you know, I saw some postings, and it sounds like they they denied access to, I believe, DuPont Circle Park.
Yes,
exactly.
And
the park in the
as
circle,
we all pay federal tax.
Yeah, right,
You know,
right.
How dare they?
Yeah.
Right.
And the hypocrisy continues. But we're going to get strong, and we're going through another Pride, and we're just going to keep going.
Yep. We did it before, we'll do it
Do it
again.
again.
Keep fighting.
That is a big LGBTQ story for today. There is no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by sharing and subscribing to Queer News Tonight.
Now let's dive deep into this big LGBTQ story for today. I'm Gregg Shapiro, and let's clear up entertainment. The 2025 Tonys were for the gays. Did you catch the Tonys Sunday night? This year, the Tony Awards were for the gays, and we mean that in every sense of the word. Hosted by Cynthia Erivo, the Wicked Witch herself, fresh off her I Forgive You album, a WorldPride performance, and promoting Wicked for Good, this year's ceremony was a glittering, unapologetically queer celebration of theater. The night was packed with star power and sparkle. Audra McDonald, Jonathan Groff, Darren Criss, and Nicole Scherzinger served full Sunset Boulevard glam. But it was the cast of Death Becomes Her that stopped the show twice. The musical earned a whopping 10 nominations, with a special shout out to our favorite camp anthem for the gays. It only took home one award, but it was a big one. Paul Tazewell snagged Best Costume Design of the Musical, and Christopher Gattelli made history as a double nominee, recognized as both director and choreographer. Next, Sarah Snook's The Picture of Dorian Gray took home honors, and the legendary Harvey Fierstein received the Lifetime Achievement in Theater Award. In his heartfelt speech, Fierstein said, quote, "There is nothing quite like bathing in the applause of a curtain call, but when I bow to the audience with gratitude, knowing that without them I might as well be lip-syncing show tunes in my bedroom mirror, and so I dedicate this award to the people in the dark," end quote. But the loudest applause belonged to Cola Scola. They won Best Actor in a Play for Oh Mary, making history as the first out non-binary winner in that category. The 78th Annual Tony Awards aired Sunday, June 8th, and with Broadway divas, big queer energy, and a whole lot of sparkle, this one's already being called one of the gayest and greatest Tonys of all time. Awards are now streaming on CBS.com and Paramount Plus. Come on, you guys, it's always the big gay show. Come on, it's never been the straight show. I mean, even when it was more straight people, it was always gay. But with show-stopping moments from Cola Scola, Cynthia Erivo, Jonathan Groff, and of course Harvey Fierstein, the always gay Tonys were gayer than ever, and a perfect addition to the Pride Month festivities. It has to be June, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I just saw an interview that Cole gave, and it was really interesting, their background. You know, they came from poverty. They started working on this play in 2009, and it was interesting to me that they wrote everything, and it wasn't changed by producers, which is unheard of on Broadway, right?
So they wrote and performed.
Yeah, which is quite outstanding. You know, what representation. And I did see in January Death Becomes Her on Broadway.
I did.
And I really wish they would have gotten more awards. You know?
The costume thing too, with the dress that keeps changing, right?
Everything was, the performances, everything was, no wonder they were nominated, you know, for 10 Tonys.
I have to do a New York show trip.
Yeah,
That sounds like fun.
for sure.
Yeah. That is a big LGBTQ story for today. There's no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by subscribing and sharing Queer News Tonight.
Now let's dive deep into this big LGBTQ story for today. I'm Franchesca D'Amore, and let's queer up entertainment. Khalid cries happy tears at his first Pride performance in DC. Grammy-nominated singer-songwriter Khalid was overcome with emotion during his performance at the WorldPride DC 2025 Free Street Festival and closing concert. For the first time, the 26-year-old artist took the Pride stage, and it moved him to tears. He was visibly emotional as cheers and chants of his name echoed across the stage. Khalid told the crowd, quote, "These are happy tears. This is my first time performing at Pride. This is my first time being at Pride. Y'all got me choked up. Oh my God." End quote. fans in the audience captured the heartfelt moment, showing Khalid wiping away tears mid-performance. Backstage, Khalid reportedly continued to cry as he met fans, clearly overwhelmed by the love and solidarity. Khalid was publicly outed last November through an online dispute with a former partner. Khalid's new single, All I Know, featuring Rudimental, is out now on all major streaming platforms. You know, this story actually hits close to home for me. I was entertainment director for 4 years of my Hollywood Pride. And I really went out of my way to go to different places to see local talent. And so many times people, the performers would say to me, this is my first time performing on a Pride stage. I always loved seeing, I've got goosebumps, loved seeing the performers. And some of them would cry and would hug. And it is an amazing experience. You're on a stage, you're sharing the love, the energy exchange with everybody else celebrating Pride. So I get it. I totally get it. It's amazing.
And, you know, I think that feeling that kind of love and acceptance from a huge crowd like he did, I mean, I've got goosebumps too. And I am so happy for him that, you know, he got outed and he's taken it, you know?
It's all about owning it. And welcome to the club, kid. Now keep up the good and gay work.
Absolutely.
Your toaster's in the mail.
That is a big LGBTQ story for today. There is no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by subscribing and sharing Queer News Tonight.
Now let's dive deep into this big LGBTQ story for today. I'm Larry Farver, and let's queer up gay culture. The straight pride flag is real, and so is its ugly agenda. In a world where LGBTQ pride flags radiate color, inclusivity, and hope, some corners of the internet and the political world have decided to offer up their own response. The so-called straight pride flag. And yes, it exists. In fact, there's more than one version of it. But while LGBTQ flags celebrate identities and build up community, these straight pride flags do the opposite. The most recognizable version of the straight pride flag is a dull black and white striped design, basically a desaturated knockoff of the rainbow flag, stripped of both color and meaning. Another variation adapts or adds male and female gender symbols to the center, attempting to emphasize heterosexuality with bland binary flair. Both flags are commonly described as part of the straight pride or heterosexual movement, a reactionary response to queer visibility. It's not just fringe internet forums embracing the idea. In 2015, the Russian political party United Russia, linked to Vladimir Putin, publicly displayed the flag during a national holiday celebrating family love and faithfulness. They did this just after same-sex marriage was legalized in the United States. Back in 2019, the straight pride concept took to the streets with a parade in Boston, organized by a group calling themselves Super Happy Fun America. But beneath the mockery, these events often reveal anti-gay and anti-trans sentiments, attempting to ridicule and diminish queer pride. While LGBTQ flags promote visibility, history, and love, the straight pride movement and its symbols echo backlash, bitterness, and bigotry. Let's be clear. Pride exists because queer people had to fight for the right to exist. Straight people have always had the world. Queer people created pride to survive it. End of story. So I totally agree with this story. You know, it's just a veiled attempt. You know, it's like white supremacy, other types of bigotry. It's basically saying, hey, I have a flag, and this is my way of saying, you know, I don't like you, and promoting hatred, and it's just disgusting. You know, we have so many great allies, and I think we need to continue to remind ourselves, and not that we can change everyone's mind out there, but I think, you know, there are times where people will see that we're really just great people. We like to have fun. We're creative. I think I just had a little flashback moment where I remember many years ago in a previous life going off on a mostly all gay cruise, and pulling out of the port, and there were heterosexual people on the one cruise line, and we were on the other cruise line, and we had fireworks and music and pageantry. They had nothing. And they were like looking over like, hey, what about us? Can we hop over? You know, like they were like visibly disappointed. Wow. And I think if we continued to promote that we can arise above it all and be who we are, I think it's going to be our strength.
And I think we just be ourselves.
Absolutely.
And, you know, I think this whole campaign of straight pride is just ridiculous. Nobody ever questioned their right to marry, their right to have a job, their right to
exist,
to exist, to walk down the street, healthcare. Right. I mean, they say that gay people or the LGBT community is throwing ourselves in their face. Meanwhile, straight propaganda is all around us. Right. And two people walking down the street holding hands is a horror. You know, I just think that people want attention, and it's all about attention seeking.
Well, I say shame on straight pride. Right. We should organize protests at their pitiful events the same way they do at ours. Like the protesters that were outside of Naples Pride this weekend were terrifying. I haven't seen that kind of, that in the numbers that were there. It was just shocking. It's been a long time since I've seen that. So maybe we should organize protests.
And I know that there's some money. I can't remember the individual's name, but there's a gentleman who heads up one of the organizations on the right wing from Marco Island. And it's scary that someone would take so much money to promote a hateful agenda.
Right. It's really sad. That is a big LGBTQ story for today. There is no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBT stories by subscribing and sharing Queer News Tonight. Now let's dive deep into this big LGBTQ story for today. I'm Cindy Brown, and let's queer up the world view. Do you know the largest Pride celebrations in the world? I do. Pride started as a protest, but today it's also a celebration. And in 2025, Pride festivals around the world are expected to draw record-breaking crowds, becoming bold, joyful testaments to queer resistance and love. Let's start in Brazil, where São Paulo Pride remains the largest Pride event on the planet, drawing up to 5 million people every June. It's less of a parade and more of a rainbow carnival. This year's celebration hits Avenida Paulista on June 22nd. Next up, WorldPride Washington, D.C. From May 17th through June 8th, the city welcomed nearly 3 million people to jam-packed schedule of protests and performances and a human rights conference. Toronto Pride also expects around 3 million attendees, with its 2025 festival climaxing on June 29th. Don't sleep on New York City Pride either, where the movement began. This year's theme is Rise Up, Pride in Protest, and over 2 million people are expected to fill New York City streets on June 29th. In Europe, Madrid Pride returns from June 26th to July 6th to celebrate 20 years of marriage equality in Spain. London Pride follows on July 5th, with Cologne's Mega CSD Parade on July 6th. And let's not forget Mexico City, Buenos Aires, and Chicago, each hosting Pride celebrations that bring out over 1 million attendees every year. Wherever you celebrate, remember, Pride is everywhere. And this year, I hope people come out in greater numbers, and I hope our allies come out in greater numbers, because more than ever, we need to show up. You know, we've said that multiple times on the show tonight, and we need to show up. Like this weekend, it's Stonewall Pride. You know, we need to show up, be queer, and be proud.
100%.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And it's amazing that it's being done all around the world. I think it's just going to keep on getting stronger and stronger, even in the face of, adversity and the hate. We've been here before, and we'll keep on thriving. Not
Yeah,
surviving,
there'll always be
right?
people who are hating us.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah. Well, why wouldn't they?
Yeah, I mean, we have fabulous parades.
That's
They're
right.
just jealous. And
I
it
wonder
makes me happy and gay to know that there are pride festivals across the globe drawing 1 million or more people. We are not alone, and we are indeed everywhere.
Yes.
Yes.
Be there.
100.
Absolutely.
I just have
Yeah.
one thing to say. Everything I do is for the gays.
Brava.
True story.
Yeah, well, that is a big LGBTQ story for today, and there is no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by subscribing and sharing Queer News Tonight. Those are today's headlines from Queer News Tonight. These anchors represent the best of our community and ally community.
If our rainbow family is important to you, share this news with your friends and family. Join the conversation on your favorite streaming platform.
Queer News Tonight is the only live LGBTQ digital television show in the world that is out of the closet and into the headlines.
We need your support. If our community is to grow and then thrive, we must tell our stories and bring them to the attention of the broader world. This is the only place in the world that tells these types of LGBTQ stories in motion and in sound. That is the passion of Hotspots Magazine, Happening Out Television Network, and Queer News Tonight.
I'm your anchor, Cindy Brown, and on behalf of these LGBTQ reporters, the anchors of Queer News Tonight, including Gregg Shapiro, Franchesca D'Amore, and Larry Farver, we will see you daily at 8 p.m. And to our LGBTQ world, we hope you will join us by embracing love, generosity, bravery. Be transformative and queer. Good night.